They're switched at birth, but 16 years later they meet, and their families want to marry them. 16 years ago, in a hospital somewhere in Japan, 2 babies were born, but things got mixed up, and each ended up in the wrong home. And as the parents didn't notice, well, they did notice. Much later, it's the day Nagi will meet his true family. But before that, he has to go to school. On the way, he encounters a girl about to jump from a bridge, Erika. Nagi does everything he can to prevent it, but as it's a romance anime, turns out, the girl wasn't going to jump. She just wanted to take a video to send to her father. Why? Well, she tells the protagonist that her parents want to force her to marry a guy she doesn't know. Nagi also tells her a bit of his story, and as both have problems, she comes up with the brilliant idea that he pretend to be her boyfriend to avoid her marriage. Obviously, Nagi doesn't agree, but when she shows him the video of the fall, Nagi is afraid of being cancelled on Twitter, so he reluctantly agrees. The girl takes him to buy clothes all over the city to take some photos, and Nagi realizes that the girl's family is one of the richest in Japan. When taking the photos, none come out as the girl wants, so in the end, they use the first one they took. But at that moment, some crazy fans of the girl, who is by the way a famous influencer, arrive. Seeing that they're bothering her, Nagi defends her, something Erika likes. Nagi tells her that his parents taught him to defend himself, and that's what she should do too, so Erika tells him that when she sees her fiancé, she'll give him a good punch. At the end of the day, they say goodbye, and the girl thanks him for everything he did for her. That night, Nagi goes to the dinner where his parents and his biological parents are, and at the table, they tell him that since both families have grown fond of the two, they have made a decision. He will marry Erika, and everything will stay the same. None of them can believe they are the babies that were exchanged, but now they have to get married. The problem is that Naga's heart already belongs to Hiro, the smartest girl in his school. To move things forward, Naga's parents tell him that Erika will visit him that day. Nagi doesn't understand what's going on, and neither does his sister Sachai, who is jealous because another girl will be with her brother. But Nagi reminds her that Erika is actually their older sister, so she should respect her. Our friend cleans the whole house to make it look nice for Erika, but also that day he will tell her that he can't marry her because he's in love with someone else. But as the minutes pass, the girl doesn't appear, and when he opens the door to leave, Erika is outside waiting for him. As they walk, the girl tells him that she has something to ask him. She wants to see his house. Nagi tells her that they are already there, but for the girl, this is more than an attic, so our friend shows her the whole house. But then she shows him hers, and each room is the size of Naga's entire house, you know, rich people stuff. At that moment, Nagi realizes that not only do they not like each other, but they also live in different worlds. But before he can say anything, the girl beats him to it and tells him that she doesn't want to marry him because there's also someone in her heart. Plus, she didn't come to his house to see him but to see his parents. Nagi asks her why she didn't say so earlier, and she explains that her parents won't be home until late due to work, so our friend takes the girl to the family restaurant. But Nagi is afraid that Erika won't get along with them because they all have the same temperament. Erika's biological parents welcome her with much love, but for Nagi, it's too invasive. Plus, he thinks the girl doesn't want to try poor people food. However, when she tastes the food, she really likes it. But after a few seconds, she gets up and leaves. Nagi runs after her to find out what's wrong. But contrary to what he expected, the girl tells him that her biological parents treat her very well, and she's afraid of not pleasing them or not being enough for them. But Nagi tells her that won't be the case. Her parents will understand her very well and love her. With those words, Nagi manages to get the girl to return to the restaurant, and everyone has a pleasant time. Well, maybe not Sachai. At the end of the night, while Nagi accompanies Erika home, Erika's dad arrives and tells them both to get in the car because he has a surprise for them. The surprise is a house for them to live in together and advance their relationship. They will stay in that house for 2 weeks. At first, neither of them likes the idea, but when they realize they'll have their own space, they accept the proposal. But each will go their own way, Nagi to study and Erika to take photos. The problem is that Nagi's phone battery runs out, and since he only brought what he had with him, he doesn't have his charger. So, he asks Erika to lend him her study books, but she puts a condition: he will help her take her photos. Reluctantly, Nagi does it, but his eyes wander elsewhere, and while taking the photos, they both fall and even look like a real couple. Nagi even takes a photo that Erika really likes. At the end of the session, Erika asks Nagi why he studies so much, and he tells her that he wants to get a good job and thus support his family well. That's a true man. My man! On the other hand, Erika tells him that she's an influencer because that way she can meet people and hopes to meet someone who is very important to her. Back at school, Nagi knows that exams are approaching. And if he's the top of the class, he'll confess to Hiro because the girl said her ideal type is someone smarter than her. But maybe this will happen sooner than expected because when Nagi opens his locker, there's a letter from Hiro saying she has something to tell him, so he waits for her on the rooftop in the afternoon. Nagi thinks it's a joke, but he realizes it's not when the girl is spying on him. Plus, our friend is first in the previous exams, so he thinks Hiro is in love with him because he surpassed her. When the moment on the rooftop arrives, the girl shows up, and she's super nervous. And just when Nagi is expecting all the love from the girl, she tells him she'll outdo him. No matter what he does, she'll always get a better grade than him. So, the two compete to see who is the best. If you think this made Nagi sad, you're wrong because our friend falls even more in love with Hiro. Nagi starts studying like crazy. However, this brings consequences because he becomes unwell, but his private nurse is there to help him. But all he cares about is his studies. Come on, Nagi has the top spot in front of him, and he's not taking it. All the effort he puts in exhausts him so much that he ends up fainting, and Erika has no choice but to take care of him. Though the effort has its rewards because Nagi was the first in the exams not only in his class but in the entire school. With all that in mind, our friend is ready to confess his love. So he arranges to meet Hiro and tells her he outperformed her in the exams because he likes her and wants to go out with her. She admits she likes guys smarter than herself but refuses him, claiming his victory was just luck and he won't surpass her again. Nagi insists he'll keep surpassing her until she accepts him, initiating a competition to determine who's superior. Although it doesn't go as planned, Hiro admits she hasn't had so much fun in a long time. However, she rejects Nagi as she's already engaged. Our friend ends up in the friend zone, but he's determined not to let that happen. He begins to fantasize that Hiro revealed her engagement to him so he could save her. But before he can dwell on this, Erika enters his room to pack her things as they're leaving the house that day. The 2 weeks have flown by, and despite their initial reluctance, they can't deny they enjoyed their time in the house and the opportunity to spend time together. But it's time to return to reality. Nagi finds his family's absence upon arriving home. His mother informs him they're renovating the house and have moved to temporary accommodation, leaving no room for him. With no other choice, Nagi returns to Erika's house, where she's coincidentally staying too. She explains she wanted to live alone for a while and learn independence, like him. However, it's a bit difficult. Hachi isn't thrilled with this decision. She's jealous her brother is with someone else and decides to visit to see her brother and her sister. When Hachi arrives, the conversation between the girls is awkward. But they eventually bond over their differences, leading to a heartfelt moment between sisters. Hachi is relieved Erika will be the one marrying her brother, unaware that they don't actually like each other, much to her satisfaction. As the day ends on a positive note, Nagi returns to school, nervous about seeing Hiro for the first time since their conversation. But when he arrives, she's already waiting for him in the library to study together. As they study, Nagi tries to start a conversation to get to know her better, asking her blood type, a common Japanese icebreaker. Strangely, she answers him candidly. Despite Nagi's nerves, a clumsy bathroom incident leads to a bonding moment over their shared interest in temple stamps. Hiro suggests they study together every morning, much to Nagi's excitement, who already begins to imagine a future with her. However, their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a new student in the class, Erika.
No, wait!
Nagi asks why she's there, and the girl tells him she got expelled from her school because she posted a photo with him. She deleted it after 3 seconds, but someone else took a screenshot and uploaded it. Since she attended an all-girls school where boyfriends aren't allowed, and on the day she was going to explain, Nagi fell ill, and she took care of him. Nagi has nothing to say because he knows it's also his fault. The only thing is, no one should find out that they're engaged. Everything seems fine, but Hiro becomes friends with Erika. At first, our friend is glad they get along, but he realizes his fiancée and the girl he likes can't be together. So, he spends the whole day looking for a chance to talk to Erika. But as both girls are popular, everyone wants to be with them. After many attempts, Nagi finally gets a chance. But just as he's about to speak, he stops because he realizes it's wrong for Erika to have no friends just because he doesn't want her near Hiro. However, Hiro starts crying out of the blue. Nagi immediately thinks Erika said something to her, but he tells Hiro that despite Erika's temperament, she's a great person. But it turns out Hiro wasn't crying about that. She was emotional about meeting Erika because she's actually her #1 fan. Interestingly, Erika starts seeing Nagi in a new light because of the things he said about her. After school, Erika tells Hiro that she's not very good at studying, so she proposes that the 3 of them study together every day. When they get home, Nagi tells Hiro everything he feels for her. So, Erika tells him she'll help them be together. That's why the next day, Erika even dresses up as Cupid. But none of what she does works because although they have a lot in common, Nagi and Hiro are too competitive. What they don't realize is that Hiro notices how well they get along in such a short time, which makes her jealous. But not because of Nagi, but because he seems to be closer to Erika than her. So, to get closer to the girl, Hiro invites herself to Erika's house. They both know that's a big problem, but Nagi tells her to take Hiro to their main house, and she does. So as our friend is alone at home, he frees himself a little, but only for a moment because Erika arrives with Hiro. It turns out that Erika's house is being remodeled, so she has no choice but to take her to their house. Now they both have to make sure she doesn't realize Nagi lives with her, and with all their effort, they succeed. Although just as Hiro is about to leave, she sees Nagi's stamp book there, but Erika tells her Nagi lent her his notebook. But she got confused and took another one, and with that, she manages to prevent Hiro from realizing. Mission accomplished. Now it's time to go to Hiro's house, which turns out to be a giant temple. She gives them a tour, and when Hiro's mom serves them food, she can't take her eyes off Nagi. She explains all the work involved in running a temple, and when Nagi is alone with her, Hiro tells him that's what she meant by being engaged, not to someone but to the temple. Nagi asks her why she didn't tell Erika, but she says she'd only tell someone she trusts very much, someone who wouldn't mind sharing that burden with her. Our friend is more than happy to hear this, and things are about to get better because the school is organizing a field trip. Erika tells him she won't be able to go because she's too famous and might have problems. Nagi says he won't go either, but Erika suggests they go together because the group must consist of more than 2 people, meaning him and Hiro. With this idea in mind, our friend asks the girl to go together, knowing she'll likely refuse. So when he proposes it, he's super nervous, but she agrees on the first try. Nagi can only imagine the date he'll have with Hiro, so when they leave school, he reminds her of the promise they made. If he wins 10 times, she'll go out with him. But Hiro reminds him again that her family won't allow it because she's destined for the temple. That's her fate. However, she then asks Nagi if he can change his destiny, and he doesn't have to be asked twice because of course, he'll do it. Now he just has to take care of Erika because it turns out the girl has decided to go on the field trip. But to help him, another boy who's a fan of Erika did everything possible to be placed in the same group by the teacher. On the day of the trip, the boy is so in love with Erika that he privately asks Nagi if he'd mind if he wants to be with her. Our friend says no, but his actions indicate otherwise because all day, Nagi takes care of Erika, something Hiro notices. So, at sunset, Erika tells him he wasted his entire date with Hiro, but Nagi says he couldn't leave her with a guy she doesn't know. Erika asks him to take a photo of her with the word friend in the sand, but he doesn't want both of them in the picture. However, during the struggle, they accidentally take a photo together, and when Erika sees it, she tells the protagonist that he always takes the best photos and that she has something to tell him that could change the course of the story. Unfortunately, we won't know what it is because we skip ahead a few days after the outing, where Nagi is alone because Erika went shopping. However, he doesn't stay alone for long because his sister comes to visit him. This turns out to be good because she helps Nagi make a decision. You see, our friend has wanted to ask Erika who the person she's looking for is and how he can help her find them. Seeing her brother in trouble, Hachai makes a decision to move in with him and Erika. But Nagi doesn't like this at all because Erika's dad invited the two of them, not her. However, Erika tells him she also has a say in the decision. And besides, her dad wouldn't be upset about Hachai living with them. So, Nagi has no choice but to accept that she'll live with them. Then he thinks that Hachai made that decision because she wants to spend time with Erika, that time they didn't spend together when they were little. But things aren't exactly like that because the person she wants to spend time with is actually Nagi. He overhears this and remembers that they were always together, he was always there for her. The next day, the three of them go shopping, or rather, only Erika and Sachai do, and our friend is the wallet and the one carrying all the things. The problem arises when he loses sight of them and suddenly hears everyone talking about 2 girls, thinking something bad happened to Erika and Sachai. He pushes through the crowd, but it turns out it's nothing bad. It's just that Erika and Sachai attract so much attention because of how beautiful they are. But when he arrives, everyone thinks he's someone strange until they realize he's with them. Back to the main topic. Nagi wants to talk to Erika about what happened at the beach. When he has the opportunity, he tells her that he's still not ready. With everything that has happened recently, his mind isn't as calm as it should be to make a decision, which we still don't know. Erika just laughs and tells him he doesn't need to be so formal and serious, but she understands and will wait until he's ready. The next day, while Sachai was walking, she has an accident. But Nagi was already asleep. At that moment, he receives a message from Hiro asking if he's interested in dates, but Sachai sees the message instead. For the date, our friend prepares with his best outfit, although it's not the best for Erika. But Nagi doesn't mind, and he goes on his date. When he meets Hiro, we see part of the storyline. We get you, Nagi, but as this is a typical scene in romance anime, there's not much else to say, except that our friend ends up feeling a bit down for getting into all the games. The good thing is that while they eat, Hiro apologizes to him for dragging him into it. But Nagi tells her that he actually likes her adventurous spirit the most, which makes the girl blush. Later on, they enter a maze that seems more advanced than those in Dubai. Look at that level of technology. The problem arises when Nagi reaches the mirror part. He trips and ends up kissing Hiro, or at least one of her reflections. Meanwhile, when Erika tells Sachai that Nagi is on a date with Hiro, she can't hide her jealousy. Meanwhile, to help Sachai calm down a bit, Erika takes her first to batting and then to the hot springs, and luckily, both of them relax. But we can't say the same for Nagi because our friend doesn't end up in a good state of health after the date, especially when he gets home, and his sister welcomes him with a delicious meal. At night, while everyone is asleep, someone rings the doorbell, but it's too late for someone to arrive. However, it's just Naga's dad taking them fishing. It's the first time for Erika and Sachai, but not for Nagi. However, even though he has done it several times before, he still gets seasick. The reward for catching the biggest fish is 1,000 yen, and the girls do well. While they fish, Nagi starts to remember all the times his dad took him fishing, even though he didn't want to go. At first, he didn't understand why his dad did it, until he realized that his dad did it for him. He knew his son was stressed out by his studies and life, and to make him forget everything for a moment, he always took him fishing. He'll do it as many times as necessary. He'll always be there for his son, unlike mine, who left for cigarettes. Days later, it's Mother's Day, and Erika goes out to eat with her mom. This makes Sachai also want to do something for her mom. But when she goes to tell Nagi, she says it's something strange for her. But the girl tells him that she left home and worried her mom a lot, so it's the least she can do. And since in this is an anime the protagonist's opinion doesn't matter, both of them go for the gift. While they find something to buy, Nagi realizes that it's the first time he's going out with his sister. Every time she invited him, he was always studying or doing something else. Since they don't look alike physically, everyone thinks they're a couple, which pleases Sachai. The important thing is the gift, but none of the things they find convinces them because they don't really know what their mom likes. They only know she's a hardworking person and was very happy when they gave her a drawing. And at that moment, the idea comes to their heads, an apron. So they buy it and go home to give it to her, and she immediately puts it on. Meanwhile, Erika and her mom talk about how everything has been going. Erika tells her that things are going well, but somehow she still doesn't feel connected to Nagi as she does to Sachai. She says this to Erika's mom, and he gets to work because we see that this guy is the mastermind behind everything. While Erika makes instant soup for the first time in her life, her dad sends her a message, and she already knows what it means. So she tells Nagi to go out for a while, but she doesn't take her phone or her card so they can't find her. She tells him they left the house because her dad will arrive. But she doesn't want to see him. Nagi asks her why, and she tells him that her dad doesn't take her opinion into account and always does what he thinks is right. That's how it has been her whole life, but she's tired of it. With Naga's words of encouragement, she finally gathers the courage to confront her dad. But the guy is smart and goes to the house, and since he only found Sachai, he takes her out to dinner so she can tell him everything that's going on. She tells him that everything is fine between Nagi and Erika, despite the fact that they are polar opposites. They complement each other very well, although that also makes her fearful because they are taking her brother away from her. At the end of the night, her dad gives her a present and goes to one of his buildings, and when he enters, we see that he's looking at a photo where young Erika is standing next to Nagi.
That's suspicious.
The next day, Sachai goes to the restaurant to help her parents, but she leaves later because she can't spend much time without her brother. Meanwhile, in the house, while Nagi is tidying up, there's a power outage, and when Erika turns on the light on her phone, they're very close. When they go to look for Nagi's phone, it's not charged, and at that moment, Erika's phone also dies, but at least she has candles. Erika tells Nagi that although she's afraid of being without electricity, sometimes it's good. It's like Christmas for the poor. Anyway, she asks Nagi how he's felt since they started living together, since they met. On her side, she's had a lot of fun getting to know him. He's changed many things in her, and she's met wonderful people. Nagi also tells her that he's had a lot of fun. Although sometimes it annoys him a lot, he enjoys being with her. At that moment, Erika remembers that there's an emergency switch, so Nagi goes to look for it in the darkness, but he doesn't notice that Sachai has just arrived, and Nagi slips, and they both kiss. At first, Nagi thought it was Erika, but when the light comes back on, he realizes that it's actually Sachai. But he doesn't pay much attention to it. He just tells her to forget everything. It was an accident. But the girl won't forget so easily. She spends the whole day thinking about what happened, but the truth is that Nagi doesn't pay much attention to it. For him, it was just something that happened, and that's it. But he realizes something is wrong when he prepares Sachai's favorite food. But she doesn't come out of her room. No matter how much he talks to her, she doesn't respond. Erika knows that something is going on between them and asks Nagi about it, but she doesn't understand why she's angry until she remembers what happened. At that moment, Erika switches to psychologist mode and tells him that his little sister is no longer a child. She's older now and has feelings too. The best thing he can do is apologize to her for what happened and truly stop seeing her as the little girl she used to be. Nagi isn't sure if that's the best course of action. But he also realizes that Sachai isn't really his sister, he just grew up with her. However, it's Hiro who helps him make the final decision. She tells him that he should act as he believes is best because that's what he does. Plus, she makes him a temple charm. With all this, Nagi goes to Sachai's room and tells her that he'll stop seeing her as a child and will now see her as an equal. However, that doesn't change the fact that she's his sister and he can't see her differently. Sachai also understands her brother's feelings and knows that what's going on in his head can't be. So, she accepts it and reconciles with her brother. Days later, while Erika and Nagi are going to school, she asks him to accompany her to buy some things, but he tells her he won't be able to because he'll be busy that afternoon. This surprises her because she doesn't know if he's meeting someone else, and that someone else is Hiro. Our friend invites her to study because he remembers that he couldn't shine at the amusement park but did in math, so they both go to study a bit at the library, and you could say everything went well. But now that they've left the place, Nagi doesn't know where to go or what to do to make her stay longer. But it's she who tells him that if he has something to do, and he responds that he doesn't. What Nagi didn't expect was for the girl to take him to practice kickboxing, and he also didn't expect the girl to be so good. Nagi doesn't fall behind and shows the power of fists raised in poverty. What neither of them realizes is that Erika saw all of this, so the girl gets quite jealous, and the next day she tells Nagi that they'll go out together whether he likes it or not. She takes him shopping for clothes. Nagi knows she doesn't do anything without a reason, so he feels she's planning something. And he's right because later the girl takes him running all over the park, and she tells him they went running because he likes sports. But Nagi tells her that she knows that's not true. However, Erika tells him that if he doesn't like sports, then why was he doing kickboxing with Hiro? He looked very good with her. In fact, he had a big smile on his face. Nagi tells her that if he had a date with Hiro, why should that matter to her? But she tells him that it matters because he's not like that with her. He never smiles that way when he's with her. He shouldn't have dates with anyone else. Isn't she enough? Isn't she his fiancé? Nagi realizes that Erika is jealous, but he doesn't know why, so he asks her if she likes him. But she tells him that of course she doesn't like him, not yet. That not yet raises many doubts in Nagi, but Erika runs off. When he's alone, he wonders what that not yet means and why he gets nervous thinking about it. Does he like Erika? But that can't be because he likes Hiro. But he also wonders why he likes Hiro. Nagi goes to his parents' house to read a book about love, but he sees the letters his dad wrote to his mom. Although he didn't want to read them, he ends up doing so. His dad then arrives and tells him the story of how he met his mom. Since that day, he never stopped writing love letters to her because, for him, she's and will always be the most beautiful woman in the world. That's what being in love means to him. He also tells Nagi that if he ever has doubts, he should just close his eyes and imagine that the person he loves the most is calling him. The problem is when Nagi does this, he sees all three girls, which leaves him even more confused. So, he just sends a message to Erika saying that he doesn't like her. Yet, the problem is that thinking about all this affects him because during the exam week, he can't concentrate. He doesn't know if he likes Erika, if he just finds her pretty, or if it's empathy due to everything they've been through. Sachai isn't really his sister, and he still doesn't know if he's truly in love with Hiro or if it's just admiration. But while he's thinking, he doesn't realize that he only has 10 minutes left to finish the exam. Hiro notices that Nagi isn't acting normally, but for the moment, there's nothing she can do. All that lack of concentration doesn't yield anything good because when the results come out, he goes from being 1st to 13th in the school, and now Hiro is number 1. This saddens Nagi, but it gets worse when Hiro looks at him angrily. This is the final blow for Nagi because he's never felt this way before. Being the top student defines him. He's nobody if he's not number 1. What will he do now? Who is he? All he knows is that he's not enough for anyone anymore. Erika arrives to save him. She tells him to stop crying. That only lowered his grades a bit. That doesn't define him. He's valuable whether he's first or last. These words touch Naga's heart, and he realizes his mistake. That's why after dinner, he's reborn as a person, not entirely, but he finds new motivations. So, the next day, Nagi goes to talk to Hiro with all his spirits, but it seems the girl won't come. However, she does, but when she sees Hiro with Erika talking as if they were dating, she gets jealous and leaves. And that's not all because even though he wants to talk to her, Hiro ignores him all day. But when Hiro opens her locker, she finds a letter from Nagi saying they should meet at the court at the end of the day. But before that happens, Nagi goes to Erika to ask for help with the situation. She tells him that Hiro might not be mad at him but feels betrayed because he's her rival and promised to beat her. But he didn't show it, so he must do it and apologize to her. What neither of them realizes is that Hiro sees them from the window. When the moment comes for Nagi to talk to her, he apologizes for not keeping his promise, but he'll do it soon. And this time he'll succeed. But Hiro changes the subject and tells him that he seems very comfortable with Erika, as if they already knew each other. She's somehow jealous because she thought she would be the one to cheer him up when he's sad. But she realized that maybe that's not the case, but she doesn't care, she'll fight too. This excites Nagi so much that he even transforms into a Super Saiyan. But there's not much peace in the house because Erika asks Nagi for help studying since she did very poorly on the past exams, and if she doesn't pass the upcoming ones, she'll have to leave the house. It seems Nagi has no choice but to help Erika, but it won't be easy because she is very distracted and finds it hard to study. Even though they've been studying for 3 hours, she hasn't managed to understand any problems. So, she gets upset and accepts that this is her fate, so she'll have to leave the house. Nagi knows that will be bad because it also means he and his sister will have to leave. Plus he enjoys being there a lot, and Erika has always supported him when he needed it. So, without thinking anymore, Nagi goes to her room and finds her studying. He tells her he'll help her pass the exams and they'll both make it because in the end, they're both committed. And when the exams come, thanks to their effort, Erika manages to pass, although Nagi did almost all the work. Erika thanks him for what he did for her, and Sachai comments that the city festival is coming up. And the best part is Naga's family is also participating in the festival. While their parents go to greet other people, the siblings are in charge of the food stall, and everything goes well. In fact, Hiro arrives, and when Nagi sees her, he can't hide that she looks great. But as expected, Sachai gets jealous. An important thing to remember is that Nagi introduces Sachai to Hiro as his sister, and Hiro tells Nagi he can go for a walk after the festival, which he accepts. Hours later, and after all the food has run out, the girls are ready to enjoy the festival. But as they walk, they encounter Hiro. Upon seeing her, Erika asks her to join them, but the problem arises when Erika introduces Sachai as her sister, something Nagi had already done. However, for the moment, that doesn't cause any issues. Now is the time for the couple to enjoy the festival. When they arrive, Erika is very excited as it's her first time in a place like this. At that moment, Nagi receives a message from Hiro saying that she'll be late because she has work, and Sachai stayed to help her parents. So, for this time, it's just the two of them. Erika starts to have fun with all the games, but Nagi ends up paying because the girl only brought her card. However, that doesn't matter because they both have a great time. While they're at one of the games, Nagi starts to feel hungry because he hasn't eaten all day. So, while Erika plays, he goes to buy something to eat. While waiting, he encounters Sachai and her friends, who say that the protagonist looks foolish. But as Erika had never eaten without utensils, she doesn't know how to do it. At that moment, Erika's crazy fans arrive. But one of them has powered up, although it's no problem for Nagi. He takes Erika's hand, and they both run away. As they run, Erika gets excited that he's holding her hand. When they lose sight of the fans, Nagi tells her they ran because he didn't want to cause a scene at the festival. But she tells him that happens at festivals, but thanks him for doing that for her. It's her first time at a festival. She had always watched them on TV, but now it's something she won't forget. And as in a good romance anime, the fireworks start. However, just then, Hiro arrives and asks them something. If they both say Sachai is their sister, what relationship do they have? Nagi doesn't know what to do or say, but Erika takes his hand, and they run off. When they lose the girl, Nagi doesn't believe that's the way to fix the problem, and neither does Erika, but she didn't know what else to do. So, together, they make a decision and tell Hiro everything, although they omit details like living in the same house. So, now with no secrets, Hiro tells Erika about his commitment to the temple. On the way to the festival, Erika tells them she arranged to meet Sachai, so she leaves, leaving only Nagi and Hiro. But Hiro also has to go because her family is waiting, so they say goodbye. But just as Nagi is about to leave, she returns, takes his arm, and asks that there be no more secrets between them, which Nagi promises. However, Sachai saw all this and won't stand idly by. That's why the next day, she goes with Erika to find out if Hiro is as good as she says. But their plan doesn't yield results because it turns out Hiro is even better than they thought. She returns lost items, rejects other guys, saves a kitten, and gets along well with children. Erika asks if Sachai is investigating because Nagi likes Hiro, and Sachai admits it's something like that. She can't let her brother's heart be broken. He deserves to be with someone who deserves him. But Erika tells her that Hiro is a great person. In fact, she was her first friend. At her old school, everyone talks about her, but because they want something in return. In contrast, Hiro always treated her like a normal person. With all this, Sachai is somewhat convinced, but not entirely. So, since Naga's school will be receiving visits from prospective students, she decides to go see him. When Sachai arrives, everyone at the school is stunned by how pretty she is. Nagi worries because she must be nervous, but Erika reassures him, saying she must have a guide or something. And indeed, she does, but that guide is Hiro. Nagi is afraid the two won't get along at all, especially Sachai, but it's quite the opposite. The girls seem to get along great. Nagi imagines the day he'll marry Hiro and Sachai will congratulate them, but it won't be so simple. When the tour ends, Hiro asks Sachai if she has any questions, and she does, but nothing related to the visit. She asks about what she thinks of Nagi, to which Hiro replies that she's engaged but is interested in Nagi. Nagi knows something bad could happen, so he rushes to find out what they're talking about. But when he arrives, the girls seem like good friends, even eating together. Later that night, to enter that school, Sachai knows she has to study hard, but Naga's main concern is that he knows better than anyone that she'll make it. Every prize he won, she got afterward, and the same will happen with getting into school. But the big problem is money because that place isn't cheap, and even if she gets a scholarship like he did, there are always many expenses to cover. He doesn't know if their parents can afford it, so they go to talk to them. To Naga's surprise, they are delighted that Sachai will go to that school. He asks if money is a problem, and they say no, they just have to sell the store. Clearly, this can't happen. Sachai tells them it's nonsense, but they're willing to do it. This leads to an argument between mother and daughter, but Erika manages to calm them down and tells them that fighting won't solve anything. To keep the story short, the parents won't sell the store, but Sachai will still go to Naga's school. Days later, Erika has planned a study camp at one of their countryside houses, which excites everyone. However, in the midst of the excitement, Sachai falls ill. As a substitute, Erika's fanboy will attend. Upon arrival, Nagi wonders about the amount of money Erika's family has, which is essentially his family too. What's odd is that Erika notices a photo on a table and quickly turns it face down to hide it from view. Asuma asks Nagi which of the girls he likes more, and knowing that he likes Hiro, Asuma suggests they help each other so they can both spend time with the girl they like. When they are about to study, Erika mentions they need to first buy some things for the camp. Nagi offers to go with her, but after understanding Azuma's signals, he stays alone with Hiro. Just the two of them. They head to the small forest on the property that even has a lake. On the pier, they converse, and Hiro confesses that she doesn't really go out much from her house. She knows she's better at school, but that's because she never gives herself time. However, occasionally, it's okay to set aside studies. Nagi then asks her why she came with them, and she says it was because she knew he would be there. We switch back to Erika and Azuma. Azuma also wants to express his feelings, but when he's about to confess his love to Erika, he loses courage and instead thanks her for inviting him. When he returns home, he tells Nagi everything, and he's relieved that nothing happened between them. Since he told Erika what happened with him, Nagi now tells her everything about his encounter with Hiro, and now Azuma is a fan of Nagi, and he'll help him get together with her. So, that night, Izumo tells them there's a temple on the property, so they should investigate. The others listen to him, and Azumo suggests they go in pairs. Nagi already imagines himself with Hiro, but at that moment, Erika takes his hand and says they will go together. She leads him to the forest because she has something very important to tell him. But we'll find out what that is in the next part because that's where the summary ends. If you made it this far, comment brother, and I'll give you a big greeting, and your grades will improve. Also, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. My name is Alex, and I wish you a great day. God bless you. Bye bye.